Welcome back to the Python tutorial. So in this video tutorial I'm going to explain you the Python programming networking. So how to use network programming in Python. So first of all we have to understand, before going to the Python networking program, we have to understand what is the use of networking. So like basically in networking means sharing the information from one system to another system, or communication between the each other over the network by using the with the help of network. So this is called networking. Like in networking the communication will be happen with the help of internet service. Means we have to connect to each other to in order to share some information. So now in this two video tutorial, like I will be going to explain you some of the networking topics, like what is socket model, what is the client and the server, how to communicate with each other, and what is the protocol. So we have now you have to understand this concept. So now like protocol in the sense, like a protocol in the sense it has a set of rules. So it is a predefined rules we have. So based on that rules we are using for communication over the network, and their functionality is already defined in the rules. So that is called a protocol. So in Python we have the two levels to access the network services, like low level and like a socket. So by using the socket support, like underlying in socket programming we are using it with the help of the underlying operating system, that is the OS. So which allows to implement the like client server communication between the two systems. The like communication will be connection oriented. In the client server the communication can be happen in the two ways, like a connection oriented and a connection less. Connection oriented means we have to, before transmitting and sending any data from one source to another system, so we need to prepare the connection. Means we have to connect the each other system, then only we have to transfer and receive the information from one system to another system. So what happened in the connectionless protocol? So in connectionless protocol we need not prepare the connection before sending and receiving data transmission. So it will be happen automatically. So that will call a wireless, we can call it as a wireless communication. So in connection oriented, physically we have to make the connection. Like in Python also we have the some of the libraries, like to access the specific application network protocols, like we have the FTP, file transfer protocol, HTTP is there, hypertext transfer protocol, and some of the other protocols also that to transfer file from one source to another source and receive the file. So this is the intention of network in Python. Next I'm going to explain you what is like a socket. So socket are the like endpoints, and it is like a bi-directional communication channel. Means we can send and receive the communication, or we can share and receive the both in both the direction. We can do the operations, in the sense like we can send the information and we can receive the information. So like socket communications we can be processed within the processes, or like between the two machines. Means so like in within only in a single machines we can make like a client and server, and we can communicate with each other. Or else we can create a two system, like for one for the client and one for the server. So by doing that one we can communicate with each other. So like a socket program we can implement over the number of different channel types, like the Unix domain socket and TCP, UDP, and so on. So by using any other protocols also we can implement the socket program. So now I will going to explain the like socket libraries. So socket library provides like a specific set of protocols to handle or to transfer and receive the files. So in order to do the communication between two parties, like a client and server, we have to use the inbuilt or a protocol. So in protocol it will be the rules will be defined how the communication is happening. So this is all about protocols and libraries. Now I'm going to explain you some of the socket models. So in Python socket programming, we have the some of the socket model to share the information from one source to another source, or we can or receive the information from one source to another source. So first we have to create the socket model. So to create socket model, we have the method called socket function. So by using this function, we can create the connections. So now I will going to give the some syntax how to create the socket. So example I will write in the node section. So I will write in this section. See, s is the my variable or reference variable, and socket is the my functions. So by using socket functions, I'm calling the functions here. So now I will explain this what is socket family and socket type and protocols. So in detail we'll now understand. So socket family, see in the socket family, like either be Unix or any internet or any protocol. Unix. Okay, now next socket type, like this, like either a socket stream or a socket dream. See in this we have the two types, like a socket stream or a socket dream. So type, which type we are using, the so it shows the type of the socket we are using. Next is the like protocols. So it usually tells us the default is like 0 in protocol. If you are not using anything, it will be considering as a 0. So once we created, in our case I have created the s as the variable, that is the socket object. So now I will require the some of the function to interact between the client and server. So to interact with the client and server, we have to use the some of the methods to methods. So like in socket we have the some of the inbuilt methods to interact between the client and server. So like we have the bind method, and we have the listen method, and we have the accept method, and these are the methods. This is for the server side. So we have to call the method with the help of object, like as I earlier explained. So here in my case I have created the s dot s is equal to socket dot socket. This means, so I'm creating the connection and I'm storing the s variable. So by taking that s variable, I have to bind means the we have to uh, pass the address like host name, port number. So to connect for the socket, we have to pass the host number and a port number. So these are the two important required attribute in the bind method. Next, listen. Listen means like it is a TCP. In TCP protocol, so we are using the listen with the help of that object created. We are listening means which port number we are listening, means in which port number we are for transferring the files or receiving. So this will be this tells that which port number we are listening. So except it's like whenever you're requesting connection, like if I'm sending the connection to if I'm sending connection request to the client, so client should accept that request, then only server communicate, like similar way. So whenever client request for the server some information, so server should be accept those requests, then only the connection will be happening or communication will be happening between the client and server. So this is the except is the like it is a TCP client connections. So whenever we are making connection, we have to accept the connection between two devices. So this is all about server socket methods, and next we have like client socket models methods. So in server socket we have, I'll write in the node section. Server socket models, like one first one is the bind model, that is by using object we have to call, that is s dot bind is there. And second one is s dot listen, means which protocol I want to listen is there. And third is server should accept the request from the client, so that is accept. These are the server socket models. Now we have the client socket models. So in server, in client we have the connect module. So this method actively initiate the TCP connection. So if I want to connect to the server, then we have to use the connect method. So normally by with the help of so object we have to connect the server. So we have to pass like, so I will give first method is the connect, that is s dot connect. So edge dot connect, this by using this connector we can make the TCP server connections. Now like we have the some of the general socket methods like s dot receive is the method. So s dot resv, this is receive. Receive means we will receive the message from the TCP. So and we have the send method. This method is to transmit the TCP messages, and we have receive from this method receives the UDP messages. UDP in the sense user datagram protocol here, and we have the send to message. So send to function, this functions normally transmit the UDP messages. If I am using just send method, so this will send the message to the TCP. If I am using send to, means it will send the message to the UDP protocols. So these and next we have the close. So we have to, after the making the connection and after transferring and receiving performing something, so we have to close the connection. For that we have the close is the form method. So by using s dot close we can close the connection between the client and server. So next, we have the some of the commands like to get to know about the client and server. So like if I want to know the host name of the server or host name of the client, so we have the command called the socket dot get host name. By using this one, we can return the host name of the system. So now I will show one example how to get the host name of the system. So to access or to implement this concept, first we have to import the socket model here. So I will import the socket model. Then so in this hello example, I will import the socket model, and we have to make the socket connection. That is my, I will take my socket. My socket is equal to, as I socket dot socket. Now either we can pass the socket dot af inet, or I can pass the socket dot sock streams. These are two we can pass any of one. So right now I will do this one. So we have to pass here, and after that we have to print the my socket. Print my socket. So let us see the what we will get. Say this is this tells that I'm connected. Socket dot socket means this is the port number 552, and family is the address family. So this is the port detail, like as I told, the default protocol will be the 0. So next I'm going to, So next I'm going to get the like a host name and like the system, like which system, detail about the system host name and all. So I will now I'm going to demonstrate how to get the system host name. See, to get the host name, there are two ways. We can get the host name, or we can get by name. So there are two types. Now I will show how to use this two. So now h is my variable, and socket that get host name. By using socket that host name, I can get, and one more is the socket that get host name by name. Is there two methods are there? So by using, I'm passing this here as a h is my host name. See here, this is the like this one prints the my IP address. See, when I print the it will give the IP address of the machines. So if I want to know the machine name, then I have to pass the host name here. I'm passing h is my host name, and by if I only print the print I means, that is I means here I'm socket get by name, it will return the only IP address of the system. So now if I pass that host name in the IP address and as a parameter, so I can get the desktop IP name of the host name, system host name. So this is the simple example how to get the system host name. So now if I want to know the some of the some of the domain names, like let us say example, I am taking the www.google.com. So I want to know the IP address of the this host name. So this is the domain name. Domain name means yeah, this is the domain name. So I want to know the IP address of this whole domain. So for that we have the uh, how to find this one means, see earlier I have explained this one. Like similarly, we have to pass the host name means the domain name, which domain name you want to find. See, this is the my domain name, www.google.com is my domain. So I want to find the IP address of the this host name. So now I will run the program. See, this is my this is the this www.com, this is the domain name, and this is the IP address of the host name, that is this this domain name's IP. So by using get by name, I can get the domain names IP addresses. Just by if I am using just get host name means I'll get only the host name. I will not get the detail about the detail IP addresses. But if I want, you can use the get host by name, then we will get the detail IP address of the machines or domain names. So here, so this is one example. Like now let us understand like how to create the simple server and a client, how to interact with each other. So to demonstrate that one, we have to create we can use the virtualization, like in the VMware we can create a VMware, and by using in that we have to create two virtual terminals, like as a terminal 1 and terminal 2, and we have to configure both the terminal in the same network. Means we have to ping each other. So when we are trying to ping or reach each other by using ping command, so then only we can able to communicate with each other. So next, like for simple server and client interactions, we have to use the port number here, like in which which port number we are listening, and in which port number we are binding. So this is the important task here. Now I will give one a program how, like what you mean by, say, like what are the parameter need to pass in order to communicate with the client and server and client. So now I will give the one some example of a server, like what all things need to be passed in the server in order to get connected with the client. So I will comment and write something. This is my server. See, my server. So first I have to import the socket and make the connection. So this is I'm creating the socket object connections. So with the s variable, now I'm getting the local machine's name. This is as I already explained. This is the by get host name. So I am getting the host name of the machines. Now I am reserving these ports. So 12345 is the my port number. So I am working on this port number. So this port number I am reserving for the service, means I am using this port number. Next I am binding the port number, which is the host name. Host name is the whatever host name I am getting here, that host name I am binding with the port number of 1 to this port number. So now I am listening, waiting for the client connection. So this is the timer, I am listening for the client connection. So now I am taking the one live while loop, and when until this connection get connected, so it will be running the loop like. So now I am establishing with the connection with the client. So now C is my variable and address is my variable, and accepting the connections. So the S dot object means here S is the socket object. So by using socket object I am accepting the connections. So now I am printing some statement on the console. So and with the address, this is the address of. Okay, next I'm sending and I'm closing the connections. This is the server side script for the simple server. Now I will show the client side script. This is, so now I will show the how to write the client side script. So in order to get communicated with the server, like just we have to we have to connect with the host number or a port number of the server. See, I'm importing the socket module, and I'm creating the socket object, and I'm getting the local machine name here by using the get host name, and I'm listening the port on. I'm reserving this port for the communications, and I'm connecting. See here s dot connect is the my method here to connect to the server. So here I'm passing the host name, means so which in server, like in server which port number I am running, so that port number I have to pass here, so in order to get that connection. And I am receiving the connections here. So this is my port number 1024. I'm printing the s variable, and I'm closing the connections here. This is the simple client and server